Great. Approve the agenda for this evening.
Make that motion.
Okay, motion by Jeff, seconded by Aaron. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. On to public comment. First up is Cynthia. I apologize, I can't read. Is it sound okay?
Yes, right here.
Okay, you have the floor.
Yeah, I want to know where all the tax money goes when we pay our taxes. Nobody has an answer for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
part of our, so this, may I finish? This is public comment. Okay. Question.
right. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Yes, so that's a question, not a comment. This is public comment, but you can contact the office anytime. Jennifer will go through you. Our budget is public record, so you can.
Yeah, like that, I was saying like that wall that they built down there, I guess somebody ran into the wall down on Foxwood.
Mhm.
Look how they fixed the wall, it looks like they just slapped it together and threw the rocks on the side. That's a terrible job.
Sure, Dan, if you'd like to address
No,
that.
that was, they did a very good job on that.
Did you see the rocks laying on the side though?
That has to be clean.
Yeah,
The
it looks,
wall, the bridge itself though, I thought, we had an engineering, study done on that.
I could have did a better job than that, and I'm not an
No,
engineer.
I think if you look at, the joints there, these are large limestone blocks, right? We had to get special blocks cut to fit in there to date them, but there is some on the side, there are some.
I have another question is,
Yeah.
why do you want this AI to come in? Do you not know it's going to create Sharia
Once
law?
again, that is not a question, it's public comment.
Well, what am I here to speak for? I can't even speak my truth. This is public.
You can speak, we're just on answering questions.
Oh, that's pretty sad. Why did I even offer to speak? I guess I've been nowhere in this place.
All right, thank you. Amanda Poppett? Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know which it is.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't know if it's Poppett, Poppett.
Poppet.
Okay, you have the floor.
So I'm a resident of Big Beaver Borough. I've lived here for 11 years, and I've come to express concerns regarding the data center. Before I do, though, I would like to make a comment and say that no matter how many times a member of a planning committee comes to these meetings and speaks, utilizing our limited time to address the council to publicly admonish residents for expressing viewpoints that differ from his, we're not going to be dissuaded from showing up, from sharing our opinions and perspectives, both online, tonight, and in future meetings. I find it personally abhorrent that an appointed official for the borough would have the audacity to come to council in a public meeting to berate the community he is supposed to represent for doing nothing besides exercising their First Amendment right to criticize the government openly and engage in political debate. Citizens are permitted to say things like vote them out in America. And as you open each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to remind the council and formal committee members, the residents have rights to express their opinions openly. But back to the reason that I wanted to speak today. The council passed a zoning ordinance in September of 2025, outlining processes, procedures for approval of a data center as a permitted use with special regulations. The ordinance falls short of protecting the residents and the environment in Big Beaver Borough. The ordinance states that an applicant must submit a sound study during land development, prepared and sealed by a PA licensed sound engineer, and sound levels are not to exceed 75 dBA, which stands for A-weighted decibels, along all track lines. 75 dBA is comparable to the sound of a loud vacuum, a noisy restaurant, or a dishwasher. However, that does not sound like much until you consider the data center will operate 24 hours a day. And sound at this level can lead to hearing loss after 8 hours of continuous exposure. Additionally, emergency backup generators are exempted from this limit, as well as testing or recharging of emergency backup generators. Testing and recharging is limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and quote-unquote reasonable advance notice is required to be given to the borough. Essentially, your ordinance is vague.
Right.
It does
That
not
was your 5
define.
minutes. That was your 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your comments. Randy O'Hara?
I'll pass for now. Go ahead, Cindy.
No, I got,
I'm not coming back, Randy. If you have something, now's your chance.
okay, first I want to start off with, I don't know if you know that, Pennsylvania does have a constitution and Article 1, Section 27.
And just hang on 1 second. I didn't recognize you, but you do have the floor, but it is Cindy Evans. that has
Yes,
the floor.
it is. Article 1, Section 27 is a well-known clause establishing that the people have a right to clean air, pure water, and the preservation of the environment. A data center does not do that for us. It is not. And it is up to you, again, to take care of that. And going on from what she says, it does not define what is considered reasonable advance notice, nor does it specify when, how, or whether residents will be notified in advance. It also does not outline the penalties to the data center for violating the ordinance regarding exceeding established limits. She just has in here what I just read about Article 127. So, I mean, you guys really, there's a lot you're missing here. And, Amanda, I'm confused now. But here was my other thing, and I wanted in the minutes. On January 1st, when you had your reorganizational meeting, you appointed Shannon Steele as our solicitor. Then, on January 20th, you talked about having a special solicitor for special projects. But yet, every time we asked, you said, we don't know nothing, we don't know anything. But yet, you're getting a special solicitor. Then, on April 4th, you appointed him. Still, when we say, is there a data center coming? We don't know anything. We don't know anything. So I just wanted into record that apparently you knew something because you were hunting for a special project solicitor well before you admitted that you knew there was a data center coming. So many have heard the numbers regarding the water consumption these large data centers utilize daily. Switch's answer in a recent article announcing their plans to build a data center in Big Beaver Borough is to use a closed-loop system. The story, we are told, is the lines are filled one time and the water is recycled forever. This may work in a laboratory setting, but real life and operations are not equal to a lab. The water in the lines of a closed-loop system become contaminated with anti-corrosive, anti-scaling agents and biocides. The water is then blown down either back into the river or into water treatment plants that lack the capabilities to filter and clean these contaminants from the wastewater, which is sometimes referred to as gray sludge. So essentially contaminating the water supply for a third of Beaver County residents who rely on the Beaver River for their drinking water. The zoning ordinance also does not require any pre-construction testing of anything, making it more difficult to prove the harm and pollution caused by the data center. My time's up?
It is. Thank
Okay.
you, Cindy.
I'm right here.
Kenneth Hauser?
Right here.
Good afternoon. I'd like to quote a couple of our founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson stated that he who gives his freedom for safety gets none of these. Ben Franklin also stated those who would give up a sense of liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Our elected borough representatives are attempting to utilize the impending switch facility and their promise of increased tax revenue to purchase a little temporary safety, effectively usurping our freedoms and liberties of clean air, pure water, clear skies, and no noise pollution, as well as pillaging our resources of residents of the borough and surrounding communities, both now and in the future. Therefore, hopefully our representatives feel that the closed-door deals and non-disclosure agreements are worth whatever they were promised. Our founding fathers would tell us that they should neither have freedoms nor safeties as they are attempting to destroy our rural community. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Paula Cook?
When a business, say any business, comes into an area, I have been asking about an emergency plan for people. I know that you guys are working on it, which I appreciate. There is, I brought it up at a previous meeting, the emergency hazard mitigation plan, which as a council, even though you told me to contact Matt Straub over it, he would not talk to me or call me back. You as a council should be overseeing that. I hear that you have, okayed the warming center, which is nice during the winter. But when a business comes in who might create other hazards, as in gas explosions, we have so many other things. The nuclear plant is going to ramp up because of a new business. Are you working on that also? I see through the bake sale that the council and the fire department really aren't cooperating with each other. We really need to take care of the problems of emergencies of the businesses that might hinder our community. And I hope that you resolve it soon. And if you have an answer for me, that would be great. That plans are in the making, or here's what we've included in the plan. Can you tell me where that's going?
I actually have an updated meeting Thursday with the county regarding the hazard mitigation plan that we did a couple years ago. The county has a meeting for all the municipalities that I'm going to Thursday from 12 to 2. And Matt's been invited for that. We update that. Please don't quote me on the time frame. It's like every 2 to 3 years we do an update on that to make sure that we're in the same plan as the county is.
Now for a new company that might be coming to our area, who will probably maybe use gas wells, maybe there's offbeat technology that could use little bits of nuclear power. Is our fire department equipped to handle those places?
I would not be comfortable speaking for the fire department. I would not. That's not in my comfort level. I'm sorry.
Okay, one more question and I'll be done. Now, if a company would come in and use things such as that.
Once again, though, back to the opening statement, it's not a question and answer period. You've made your statements, but we're not going to answer any questions here. I've been advised by legal counsel for that.
Okay. But could counsel tell me?
Is that not
Could counsel at least tell me that within their ordinances, if it's special needs like that for the community, that they would include that in with their ordinances?
That is time, and I don't have an answer for that. Did you want to say something?
So I think there needs to be an understanding here that there's no formal application for any development.
I'm just,
Can I finish first before you jump in? So all of the things you were saying are things that will play out during the land development process if an application is ever submitted. So the things about fire safety and emergency preparedness are all things that the council can consider with an application, potentially added conditions to make sure that any potential safety concerns that are brought by formal application, use never gets submitted. If it does, they can make sure during that process that those concerns are addressed properly to the satisfaction of council. But all this is cart before the horse. We don't even know what they're planning on doing on that site. We don't have plans, we don't have specifics. No, but my point is, you're talking about the new business that's coming in. You're alluding to a data center.
She said any new business.
It's going to be dependent upon what that new business is. So before we can decide what emergency preparedness we need to have in place, we need to know what they're actually proposing.
But
So
shouldn't that already be within your zoning and ordinances plan? If a big company or any company is going to come to an area, they would have to look at that. It should already be in the plan.
Those considerations are neither land use nor zoning regulations. As I said, they can be added on top as conditions to safeguard the wellness of the community, but they are not things that you would have in place in a zoning ordinance which solely governs land use. Because again, it's dependent upon the use that's proposed. I have no idea what any business is going to need as it relates to emergency preparedness to put that in an ordinance. It'd have to be on a specific project-by-project basis to determine. But again, we're way before we don't have plans.
I'm
I
not
don't know.
talking about that business, I'm
Any
talking any
business,
business.
any business, then. We don't, you're asking me to predict the future and have something in place that meets the needs of something that I don't know if it's coming in or not.
Well,
So-
wouldn't that be council's way of protecting its community to have things already pre-advanced in ordinances?
Again, council has the opportunity to work through the process to determine what the best strategy is for the use as it's developing through that process.
Aren't you the
Asking for
cart
it to
before
be
the
up
horse then?
front doesn't make any sense when we wouldn't know what exactly is needed based off of what's going to be proposed.
But aren't you the cart before the horse then also? You said we're putting the cart before the horse. If we don't know and nothing's been planned, why are our tax dollars paying you for special projects? You're the
Because
cart
we'd rather
before the
have you
horse.
here before they come in than after and it's too late.
We'd rather you have you be
That's the
honest with
answer.
full
All right,
transparency
hang
instead
on,
of smoke
one
up our
person has the floor
tails.
at a time.
So the answer to that question is I was brought in to safeguard this community, to help them through the process before it gets to. Because if I get brought in too late, things might have already happened that you cannot come back from.
And it's already.
So unfortunately, that was council's decision, and they're gonna stand by it, and I appreciate the opportunity to represent this borough.
I think you can also add to that, that we did, as a council, receive several right-to-know requests, several, that our office, right-to-know officer, could not handle on their own. And nor could I as the solicitor, because I'm doing daily responsibilities for other municipalities and them with other work. So that was the other reason why special counsel was brought on, because of right-to-know requests that deal with data center questions and all other kinds of developmental questions. So it's not cart before the horse. He was hired to be able to respond because the right-to-know officer couldn't handle it on their own, and nor could I.
And the appeals.
And the appeal that went with the right-to-know. So
I might be missing something. If you're busy in other areas and we had to hire an extra person to do absolutely nothing in our ordinance and planning, we're paying extra money in our taxes. I'm missing something.
Why are we paying two
Okay,
people?
taxes have not increased, and Paula, your time is up. Moving on to Carly Cahill.
Carly. Picking up where we left off, the zoning ordinance similarly requires an analysis of impact to electricity, yet specifies nothing regarding who shoulders the cost to protect the residents of Big Beaver and beyond. This is not just affecting Big Beaver, this is affecting everywhere. And we can sit here and pretend that we don't know that this data center is coming, but they've already stated that they are coming. It was public news. We are already seeing the impact on our power grid and rate increases due to data centers that are not only located close by, but far out. On May 4th, 2026, North American Reliability Corporation, the grid oversight agency for the US, Canada, and Mexico, issued a rare level 3 alert for essential actions after issuing 2 previous warnings about data centers in the last 9 months, The agency stressed grid operators lack sufficient process, procedures, and methods to address risks associated with the
Computation.
Thank you. Loads. Essentially, it stated the grid faces unprecedented challenges from the surge in the large power consumers, with data centers accounting for most of the increase. It could lead to the point of creating widespread blackouts. It's not could be, it does. Been there, done that. I've seen it. We will have rolling blackouts.
Does it look pretty?
Not only in our electrical services facing severe strain, but also the cost to consumers is also skyrocketing. The PJM-based residential auction is the annual capacity market used to secure electrical supply to meet future demands across 13 states, including Pennsylvania and Virginia, home to a data center alley. The December 2025 auction for 2027-2028 delivery year set record high costs for the third consecutive auction. When energy companies pay a higher capacity rate, they pass that cost along to the consumers in the form of increased supply and delivery charges. Another way residential consumers are harmed by data centers is the cost to build the infrastructure necessary to support these data centers. Electrical supplies are permitted to spread across the new infrastructure to consumers, in addition to a 10% profit for the company. One example of the impact has residential consumers in Dominion Energy, Virginia, where 6 new power plants are planned to support the needs of AI data centers. Thanks to the secret deals and non-disclosure agreements, it is estimated that the data center will only pay 30% of the cost associated with building those plants, and 50% of the cost will be paid by residential customers. In the Tahoe area of Nevada, an electric company has announced that they will stop providing residential services altogether to provide service solely to data centers. How does Big Beaver Borough Council plan to protect the residents of the borough in the surrounding areas for experiencing any of these negative impacts solely by having the applicant submit an analysis with no criteria for approval or denial specified?
Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. And that brings us to the end of our list of individuals for public comment. Next up is approval of the minutes of May 5th, 2026, the April 2026 financials, and the May 2026 bill list. Is there a motion to approve those three items? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on them? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. On to administrative report, mayor's report. All right, for the president's report, just to let everybody know, Jen just received an email, it was last night, I believe. The information is on our website as well as on the Facebook page, but there's a planned Penn power outage May 30th and 31st. And it is affecting some of the streets in Big Beaver. Not all of Big Beaver, but on the website and on the Facebook, she has listed the streets that have been identified. And I believe it was like 11:30 to 7 a.m. It's about 7.5 hour outage.
And just to add to that, Chippewa will be having a full outage. Everyone in Chippewa will be out during that time frame. Certain roads in Big Beaver where we connect. They're doing the substation down the road. They're moving the line to put that substation.
No, that's fine. Thank you for clarification on that. And the other thing, we received, so if those that don't remember, we didn't do it this year because of the limited staff in Public Works. But in previous years, we had a maintenance agreement with PennDOT in which they paid us to plow certain state roads in the borough. And there was a fixed amount. However, there was a clause in there that if they had what was considered a bad winter, they might be paying more. So apparently 2024, 2025 was identified as a bad winter when we had that agreement. And we received $18,087 from PennDOT for that agreement that can now move into maintenance of roads or additional plowing if needed this year. That's my president's report. Administrator's report, Jennifer?
I've been working a lot supporting our professionals and people on the committee, but the one thing I do want to let everyone know is we worked today. We had a concerned resident reach out to me this morning about a wreath being put on the Veterans Memorial for Memorial Day service. So I worked with the committee today with Parks and Recs, and they approved. Just found one. We ordered it through Amazon. It should be here tomorrow, so we're going to have that up over the weekend for Memorial Day services. Other than that, it's just very standard.
Thank you, Jennifer. On the professional reports, the fire department turned in a report. As noted in the report, there were 17 incidents that they responded to in the month of April. I'm done. Zoning code enforcement report was turned in, but I will also turn it over to Bill for.
Okay. There was 9 zoning permits issued in April. I worked through property maintenance complaints. There was 8 of them that I closed out, so they're resolved. There's several other complaints that I'm continuing to work with, up to and including citations and enforcements. Some of them is still working with residents to get everything up to standard.
Any questions for Bill? All right, the police department report.
We had 65 incidents for the month, all miscellaneous. Chief's not here today, so.
You did a really good job.
And I just want to make a comment on the police department report as well. Is brought up earlier about the Foxwood Bridge being hit and having to be repaired. And just recently there was another oversized truck that was on believe Sherwood, Foxwood, that area.
Yeah.
That the police had to respond to.
Okay.
And thanks to their trainings on being able to determine overweight vehicles and being able they were able to cite that. So honestly,
And we appreciate
Beaver is
that.
a large community, and
That's
we can't
great.
be all in one. They can't be all over at once. So if you see vehicles out there, please either call the non-emergency line in Beaver Falls, or worst case scenario, call the 911 to report it so that they can at least get out there, because oftentimes those vehicles are there and gone before anybody even responds to it.
With that being said, sorry. So they're going out to that turf team, whatever the heck it's called, over there off of Fairlane, whatever. Is there not another way for them to get there? Because they're swearing they have to go down there and then turn down Sherwood. Is there not another entrance for that?
With Sherwood Bridge being closed, there is not at this time, and then we're working on getting Sherwood Bridge.
Okay. I was like, that's just...
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the business on the other side there.
What about Norwood Road? You were gonna put Jersey barriers or something
All
like
right,
that.
public comment is over, and we're not answering questions. We're giving our reports now.
What happened to the police report, Conda? It's dangerous.
Engineers report, Dan.
Norwood Drive. Thank you. So we are, so we did talk about that, I believe it was last month or one of the committee meetings, but there is a section of Norwood Drive that's in disrepair. If we're aware of that, it's been worked on before. Due to the condition of this road and for health and safety reasons, we are contemplating making this a one-lane road. So, once the one-lane road, it won't be a permanent one-lane road, so once it gets repaired, then it'll be back to two lanes. So we're working on that at this time to, with the approval of council, obviously, that's fine. So we are looking at that. So, and also Sherwood Bridge, yes, we are, that bid will go out to repair that. We have a grant for that. It's not inexpensive to repair that / replace that, but the design is completed for that. And the bids and specs are pretty well along. They're not completed yet, but it will go out to bid in the near future so that we can get to be publicly bid, we'll get a contract, and we'll move forward with the repair of that. So excited to do that, excited to get that done. So also Ely Hill Road, we talked about that a little bit. I think we have nailed down now the scope of work, exactly what we're going to do there. Spoken to a few different paving people regarding that. So that will be in the near future. I'll have that out to bid shortly, so we can get that going, get that publicly bid. And that's Ely Hill from Norwood to Friendship Road will be repaired, and ditch work along the side too. We'll be working on the berms there. So those are all in the works. It's a lot of stuff going on there. Oh yes, and there'll be a section of Norwood, not the section that's in severe disrepair, but the section of Norwood from Wallace Run to Ely Hill. The slope coming up the hill there, there's a concrete road, it's in disrepair. That also, we'll do an asphalt overlay over top of that. And that will be an alternate bid within the Ely Hill Road, so we'll have that separately bid. And if the numbers are good, the council has the ability to approve that. So we'll see how the numbers come out when it's publicly bid. But that will be very helpful getting that done. Some of the other things in the report, I won't go over everything. We have 2 subdivision plans tonight, 2 consolidation plans, both relatively minor, that there will be motions made later in the meeting for the approvals of those to move those forward. Both of those properties, they're being performed with the anticipation that there'll be single-family homes built on these properties. So they both have public sewer and public water, which is also great. So we're looking forward to having that done also. Some of the other items in the report, I'm not sure what else. We had some work on our sewer system done, the Homewood Station. We had some attention to that. There's a pump out right now being worked on. The other pump, those operational. There's 2 pumps in there. But we have some work done there, which was great. We got that in good shape. Mitsubishi's coming along. That's a Mitsubishi plant. They're totally enclosed now, the office part of that, their exterior building materials are there, there's the windows, they're all meeting, we have a meeting out there on Friday. We'll start asphalt paving this spring. There's some nice drone aerials I sent to Jen recently, but it's moving along very nicely. It's still scheduled for September 15th occupancy out there, so very happy with how that's coming along. Otherwise, I think that's it.
Any questions for Dan? Thank you. Solicitors report.
Yeah, I did run in a report to Jennifer and just basic administrative inquiries from, half a month this month, unless anybody has questions.
Right, thank you, Shannon. On to the new business for this evening. The first is the 9 lot line consolidation plan, which is combining parcels 53-009-0117.000 and 53-009-0118.000 into a single parcel. This comes as a recommendation from the planning committee. Is there a motion to approve this lot line consolidation for the 9? Is there a second? Any discussion on it? Seeing none, Shannon, we'll go one by one or, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. The next is the Welch, consolidation plan combining parcels 53-122-0284.008 and 53-122-0284.010 into a single parcel. This will be contingent upon all items outlined in the engineer's review letter dated May 16th, 2026 being addressed. This also comes as a recommendation from the planning committee. Is there a motion to approve this consolidation plan? Yes. Sure.
Okay, so it just is technically the name of it is not the Welsh consolidation plan. I mean, it's the same idea, it's the same parcels, but you want to say it for the record?
It's the Burley, I did the applicant's name.
Yeah, it's what the plan is technically called consolidation plan of lots 1A and 1B. So this isn't fairly plan of lots number 3.
Okay.
That's not.
And you have that for the minutes.
Same.
So, okay, so we'll.
Welch is the name of the
Applicant.
Yes,
submitted the plan.
they own the property.
They are the applicant.
Okay, but the parcels are part of the Fairleys. Okay. So with the addition of what Dan said, is there a motion to approve that consolidation plan? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The next comes from the Finance Committee to open 2 certificates of deposit at West Banco. Okay, expenditures, correct. Okay, so is there a motion to open the 2 certificates of deposit? Is there a second?
Yes.
Thanks, Deb. Any discussion on this? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess? Yes. And myself, yes. The next item comes from the Public Works. To purchase and install a pitless adapter for the Homewood Pump Station wet well, including a spare from RAM Industrial Services Solutions at a cost of $2,337 to be paid from the bond funds, which Dan referenced this in his report. So is there a motion to purchase and install the pitless adapter?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
And myself, yes. The next also comes from the Public Works Department, and this is to hire Caleb Snedeker for summer employment with the Public Works Department in partnership with job training of Beaver County. Is there a motion for this? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
And myself, yes. The next is to hire Dylan Market for summer employment with the Public Works Department in partnership with Job Training of Beaver County. Is there a motion for this?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess? And myself, yes. And yay, we actually got 2 applicants this year. We went from 0 to 1 to 2, so we filled our spots this year. That's exciting.
We actually had 3, but one was.
Oh, to be honest, correct. The next is to advertise the road improvement bid for Ailey Hill and Norwood Drive, the lower end near Wallace Run. This was what Dan spoke to in his report. This also comes from the Public Works Department. Is there a motion to advertise for the road improvement bid for Ailey Hill and Norwood Drive? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess? And myself, yes. The next item is to purchase pipe from CoStarz, vendor LB Water for culvert repairs on Ailey Hill Road in an amount not to exceed $5,000, also from the Public Works Department. Is there a motion for this? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
And myself, yes. And the last item comes from, this one, Parks and Rec, okay. Is the purchase mulch for the community park playground in an amount not to exceed $2,000.
This is in our budget. This is in the 2026 budget. We're trying to get the mulch replaced.
Okay. Is there a motion for this?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Either Carla or Aaron, I heard them at the same time. Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeff?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Eli?
Yes.
Jeff? And myself, yes. That brings us to the conclusion of this evening's meeting. Thank you for coming. Motion adjourned.